All right. We've got something really cool for you today. Our listeners sent in this excerpt, El futuro de la IA.
Oh, interesting.
And get this, it's all about how AI sees its own future.
Wow.
And it's in Spanish. So we've got robot predictions, AD, a little language challenge. But you know, we love a good challenge here at the Deep Dive.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
It's kind of like that scene in 2001, Space Odyssey, you know? Where they're trying to figure out what Shale is thinking.
Oh, shit.
Except this time, the AI is actually giving us some answers. But before we dive into those predictions, maybe we should set the stage a bit.
Yeah, good idea.
Like, humans have been dreaming up these artificial beings for centuries.
That's true.
Think about, like, golems.
Hmm.
You know, those mythical creatures people imagined made of clay.
Right, right.
Or even those crazy, intricate automatons that the ancient Greeks built.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? This desire we have to create something in our own image, something intelligent.
Yeah, for sure.
And that fascination, really, it laid the groundwork for those early AI pioneers. They were studying biology, psychology, even trying to, like, crack open the human brain
Really?
to try and understand its complexity, replicate it.
Wow.
It was a huge task they set for themselves.
Yeah, I bet. Can you imagine? It's like trying to build a spaceship just by watching birds fly, right?
That's a great analogy.
That's kind of what those early AI attempts felt like, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They were working with limited technology and honestly a limited understanding of how the human mind actually works.
Absolutely.
But even then, they were already making predictions about where AI could go.
Which is amazing to think about. Like in the 1960s, for example, when neural networks started emerging,
Right.
that was a huge leap forward.
For sure.
But even they couldn't have predicted the kind of computing power and data we have today.
It makes you wonder, what did they get right? What did they completely miss? And I guess more importantly, what does it tell us about how we view AI's potential today?
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about this document you've got here.
Exactly. So let's actually hear from the machine's mouth, so to speak.
Okay.
This excerpt, it relies on responses from ChatGPT-4.
Which, as I'm sure many of our listeners know, is one smart cookie. ChatGPT-4, I mean.
Right. So it's not just some random AI spouting off predictions. This is like the real deal.
Exactly. And what I find so interesting is how it goes beyond those usual doom and gloom predictions we hear about robots taking over the world.
Yeah.
It actually gets into the nitty-gritty of specific fields and industries.
So what's it say?
Well, for example, it talks about AI revolutionizing healthcare.
Okay.
Like, imagine doctors being able to diagnose diseases with incredible accuracy just because AI can analyze millions of medical scans in seconds.
Wow.
That's the kind of efficiency boost this AI is predicting. It even talks about this breakthrough in protein folding.
Protein folding.
Yeah, and I'll admit I needed a little refresher on that one myself.
Yeah, me too.
But basically, it's this huge deal for medicine and drug discovery.
Okay.
It's like finding the missing piece of a puzzle that scientists have been working on for decades.
Wow. So we're talking about AI potentially speeding up scientific breakthroughs that would have taken humans years, maybe even decades, to achieve on their own.
Exactly.
Now, that's what I call progress. But it's not all like superpowered doctors and instant scientific breakthroughs, right?
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting. This AI, it doesn't shy away from the potential downsides of its own existence.
Okay.
In fact, it specifically mentions the impact on jobs.
Yeah, that's the big one. Everyone wants to know about that.
Exactly. And it doesn't sugarcoat it either. It even cites those recent layoffs at Google and Microsoft as a sign of things to come.
Wow, so this AI is saying, hey, humans, I'm not going to pretend everything will be sunshine and rainbows.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it kind of throws us a bit of a curveball.
Oh, how so?
It suggests that maybe, just maybe, this is the perfect time to go back to basics.
Go back to basics. What does that even mean in this context?
Well, it talks about focusing on those traditional businesses that rely on human connection, skills that AI can't easily replicate.
I see. Instead of fearing the robot takeover, maybe we should be looking at the gaps it creates.
That's exactly it. Those areas where human ingenuity, that personal touch, they become even more valuable.
So, like, what kind of businesses are we talking about here?
Well, think about it. If AI is automating so much of the online world, right?
Yeah.
Writing articles, designing websites, all that, maybe there's an opportunity for businesses that are rooted in craftsmanship, personalized service, or those unique real-world experiences.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like the more digital the world becomes, the more we might crave those authentic human experiences.
Exactly. And speaking of human experiences, This AI, it gets surprisingly philosophical about the role of art and creativity, too.
Really? An AI pondering the meaning of art.
I know, right? But it acknowledges that it can't fully replicate that spark of human inspiration,
Mm.
the emotional depth that we bring to our creative endeavors.
Which kind of begs the question, what will it mean to be an artist, a musician, a writer, in a world where AI can just create seemingly infinite variations on any theme?
Right. It's like this AI is challenging us to think about what makes human creativity unique, irreplaceable.
Okay, so we've got this AI predicting a future where robots are doing everything from performing surgery to composing
It's
operas.
a lot to take in,
It really is. And it leads us to that, well, inevitable question.
which is,
Are we headed for a robot uprising? The whole Terminator scenario.
right, the classic fear.
Exactly. So what does this AI say about that?
Well, it doesn't exactly dismiss the possibility.
Oh,
It acknowledges the potential dangers of any powerful technology,
sure.
but it also emphasizes that the future of human-robot interaction, it depends on responsible development
Hmm.
and deployment.
So basically it's up to us.
It is. It's up to the humans to make sure things don't go haywire.
It's like it's saying, look, I'm just a tool. It's up to you to decide how you're going to use me.
Exactly. It all comes back to human choices.
And speaking of human choices, this whole conversation started because one of our listeners sent in this intriguing document
Right.
in Spanish.
Sí, en español.
And while this AI is definitely a product of human ingenuity, I mean, it's still pretty amazing, don't you think?
What's that?
That we can have these kinds of conversations with machines.
Oh, absolutely.
And in different languages, no less.
It really highlights how AI is breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
creating new possibilities for communication and understanding.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of breaking down barriers, this AI, it's particularly excited about the potential of robots in certain fields.
Oh, like what?
Well, it talks about healthcare, of course, but also exploration, even space travel,
Interesting.
like robots assisting with surgery.
We already see some of that happening.
They do.
Yeah.
But it also talks about exploring the depths of the ocean
Oh, wow.
and even building colonies on Mars.
It's like all those sci-fi movies we grew up with, they're starting to become a reality.
I know, right? But even the AI acknowledges these advancements, they come with risks.
Of course.
It's not just about building robots that can do these incredible things, but making sure those robots are safe,
Right.
reliable.
And that they operate ethically.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
How so?
Because it's not just up to the scientists and engineers anymore. This AI, it's almost like it's calling for a broader conversation
A conversation about what?
about the future we want to create with this technology.
That makes sense.
It suggests that we need ethicists, philosophers, artists, like everyone
The way in.
to weigh in on how we develop and deploy AI responsibly. Because ultimately, it's not just about robots and algorithms.
It's about what it means to be human.
Exactly. In a world that's, well, increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. And on that note, I think maybe we should take a closer look at some of the specific tools this AI mentions.
Oh, good idea. Like what?
Well, it talks about ChatGPT, of course,
Right.
which seems to be everywhere these days.
For sure.
But it also mentions this other one called Midjourney. I'll admit, I hadn't heard of it until I read this excerpt.
Mid-journey, huh?
Yeah. I love checking out new AI tools. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's this AI that, we're talking photorealistic scenes, but also abstract art, even designs that look like they came straight out of a sci-fi movie.
No way. So what kind of stuff are people using it for?
The applications, they're kind of endless. Imagine creating, like, stunning visuals for a website or
Oh.
designing a whole comic book just by typing in your ideas.
That's crazy. It's like this AI is giving everyone the tools to be an artist. Even if you can't draw a straight line, like me.
Exactly. It's democratizing creativity in a
Right.
way we haven't really seen before.
And ChatGPT, we were talking about that earlier. It's funny, when I first heard about AI generating art and writing stories,
Yeah.
I was, I don't know, a little skeptical.
Sure.
Like, can a machine really be creative?
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
But after seeing what these tools can do, like actually seeing it, I'm convinced. I think we're really on the cusp of something big here.
I agree. A whole new era of human expression,
Yeah.
But it's not just about the tools themselves, right?
Right.
It's about how we choose to use them.
That's always the case with new technology, though, isn't it?
It is. But I think with AI, the stakes are even higher. We can either fear its potential or we can embrace it.
and see it as an opportunity.
Exactly. An opportunity to augment our own abilities, to push the boundaries of what's possible even.
It's like this AI saying, hey, humans, I'm here to help. Let's create something amazing together.
And that's a message I can definitely get behind.
Me too.
Right.
So to our listeners out there, I say, don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah. Explore these new tools. See what you can create.
You might just surprise yourself. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the one teaching AI a thing or two someday.
Absolutely. The future is unwritten. The possibilities are limitless.
This has been The Deep Dive, and we'll see you in the next episode.